the majority of streamers that have had a problem with RP that Reddit, and it's the same criticism that they have about the various YouTube channels, and it's important to reestablish this, is due to the toxicity that is bred there. In the same way a lot of toxicity is bred on YouTube, a lot of way that toxicity is bred on independent Discord channels. It's the toxicity aspect. So let's not get distracted by, you know, insert person. People are mad because insert person exploited and now they're banned and they're upset that the Reddit exposed them. No, good. More power to that. That's a distraction. That is what we call a straw man argument. So it's a straw man to say that streamers are mad that they're getting exposed. Nah, man, like, fuck that shit. Like, that ain't what the majority of people are actually mad about. Is when the Reddit is A, editorialized, B, a cesspool for targeting, and shows obscene bias. Now, what happened about 3 months ago is my friend, IRL friend, Sab, the streamer, was being witch hunted on the Reddit. It wasn't because of Chang Gang. It wasn't because of other people. Anyways, I pull up RP clips. I pull it up, and like literally, Sab, the streamer, is being violently targeted. Now, I use the word violent because violence does not mean physical. Violence also infers incitement, right? You can be violent to someone based on the way you talk to them, right? And I'm defining the word so that there's no confusion. You can violently attack someone with your words. You can violently go after someone with the circumstances that you put them in. And for those who aren't aware of what I'm talking about, and you can actually see it in the video, is the moderation team that existed were removing comments that were bringing context to the circumstances that Sab was having in roleplay, and were removing comments that were interchangeably using Sab's character name and the streamer name, and were very clearly, unless you have a level of like reading disability or you have a mental disability, which I ain't hating, if you read the things that they were uncommenting were very clear witch hunting statements that were there to paint a picture that would draw incitement unnecessarily on a what is otherwise just normal roleplay scenario. You with me? Does that make sense what I'm trying to say here? And that's when I got like really fucking pissed. And I don't like normally, like I think up until that point I had done a pretty decent job not pretending this place didn't exist. But it was it was really bad. And so I said something, and during that conversation, due to just the circumstances, people started sending me DMs, right? Like, hey, take a look at this. Da, 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 da. And it was sort of like a, hey, Medi, you're onto something. Some of your speculation makes sense. And that's when we started to notice, like, that's when I was given like the tool that lets you look at deleted comments and non-deleted comments or whatever. And that's when we found like, hey, they're deleting things and who's doing it and da 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 da. So, and then we learned like people are intentionally. So what was happening, and you'll see in those videos, and if you come back watching those videos and like, Medi, you're crazy, perfectly fine, right? You don't need to buy into what I'm selling here, right? But in my opinion, I was convinced personally that the Reddit and I've known about these guys since SOE. This community's existed since SOE. This community let me remind you, was built on harassing a female moderator, threatening her, attacking her, IRL, death threats, in order to create this subreddit. It was made on the back of harassment. People don't remember the history of where these people created this. It was literally born on some of the nasty, on a hill and foundation of the nastiest shit. Most people don't know because most people, we all probably started watching during like Nopixel and shit like that. So like you have to keep in mind that while I may come across as like an asshole, it's like, yo, why is Medi so like hateful? You have to understand that some of these motherfuckers literally did some of the nastiest shit to the where this place came from. It wasn't like these are these are fans that used to have run a place where it's like funny clips and shit like that. No, this place literally started on the back of drama that consisted of viewers and moderators that literally were harassing some people and were a place of, this place used to be way nastier. It was so bad, right? So like a lot of us have known this shit for a long time, for those of us who've been around since SOE and shit, but it's gotten worse. And you know, the people that are still allowed to post, back from SOE and the family RP times, like, anyways, let's fast forward. So like most of the same people run it, and anyways, the core of it was like, look, if you want to expose shit on the Reddit, by all means, right? If there needs to be drama threads, by all means. But what I had asked, and there was like I gave them 10 days, was you need to turn your shit around, and if you don't turn it around, I'm gonna take it away. And I'm gonna be, and I was rather vague then, and I'll remain rather vague now, because taking away the Reddit can mean a lot of things, and I'm not gonna be very specific, because if you're very specific about the tactics you use, like, I might as well give you my entire game plan so you know how to counter it. You know what I mean? I'm not fucking retarded. But I did say that part of it is going to include legal shit. So, of course, this topic came back up again because of the whole shots thing, right? Most of the moderators thought I was talking about DMCA. How do I know this? Look, I will put it, I'm going to say this, right? I know a lot of people are probably like chomping at the teeth to know what it is that I know. Number one, I'll say that the right people have the information. Number two, I will say that there is activity is still ongoing on this topic. For those who don't know how these things work, is that when something like this is happening, when I said 10 days, I meant in 10 days, I will start taking action if I feel the need. Now, I will give them props and say that I do think the Reddit has gotten a lot better. If I'm going to be honest, the Reddit has gotten a lot better. If you don't think that what I did back then hasn't done anything, then you don't know who's in that moderation list and who's not. Those motherfuckers freaked the fuck out. I will say this. Trust me, it's being monitored still. They've locked down on things. They've got new moderators. I do think that a lot of the witch hunting has been toned down. I don't think it's perfect. But if there's legal action and if there isn't, this shit, you know, I'm not gonna be, listen, I'm being vague intentionally. Any action that would take place, I'm gonna paint you an example. If action is being taken, and I will say there is some, yes. And to what level, I'm not going to say. But those guys that run the subreddit are not going to be the ones that are going to learn what's happening. It's not like they're going to get any papers. It would be the Reddit legal team and the streamers and their legal team. And the context and content of how we are approaching this is not as simple as, oh my God, someone took my clip. Like, bro, I'm not a fucking dumbass. You think I'd be wasting my time? You know what I'm saying? Like, I ain't fucking retarded, bro. Like, I will say that the moderators think it's DMCA. It's not. And they think, but anyways, you get what I'm saying? Like, I gotta be vague, because if I'm not vague, you know, you're sort of open yourself up to it being countered if necessary. You're kind of like, yo, here are my weak points, right? Which allows them to clean it up, delete messages, right? Remove threads, you know what I mean? Clean up after their mess. Because remember, there's a lot of data gathering that's involved in this. And you don't want them to wipe the data. You don't want them to revert changes, right? But at the same time, it's not like, you know, and I bring this up because, like I said, there's kind of the notion of like, man, 10 days happened and nothing's happened yet. Well, you think nothing's happened yet because nothing has been made public, but that doesn't mean steps aren't being taken. And trying to relate this with, you know, the let's just call it the shots incident is very foolish, because they're very different sets of circumstances. Anyways, I'm gonna leave it at that for now. Like I said, I do give them some props that they have gotten better, significantly better. So there's my update. So TLDR, you know, I covered why this originally started, and it's not because Dasmehdi loves Changang. No, it's because the Reddit was a place where there were OOC literally attacking Sab, even if they don't, and the threads have been deleted and shit. Number two, things are happening, but you're not going to know what's happening. And there's things that I know, and I have to remain vague about, because it is, I'm not going to show my fucking hand. This is fucking Texas Hold'em. This isn't fucking, what's a shitty children's card game? You know, this is Legal Matters or Texas Hold'em. They're not, you know, fucking Go Fish. You know what I mean? It's not a card game where you show all the cards. It's not solitaire, right? Yeah, like I said, even the moderators of the channel wouldn't know if anything is happening to begin with. Or would I tell you guys? At least until it makes sense to. Yeah, so I said that I had a bombshell. I was going to reveal the bombshell, and then something dropped on my plate that's so big that I cannot tell you. Am I clear with that? I'll say it again. You'll notice in the videos I mentioned I had an Armageddon amount of information, which was true. And then literally an hour or two later, whenever I made that statement, I don't remember if I made it on stream or whatever, but it was like within the next like couple hours, I had a bombshell land on my plate that was so significantly bigger that fully and 1000% will validate how bad not just that Reddit is, but the people that run it. And provably shows, like, underlines the foundations of what I've been suggesting, that I didn't need and do no longer need any more info. Does that make sense? It went from like someone gave me like a fucking photograph to someone coming and dropping an entire fucking feature film on my lap. And no, it's not something as stupid as like, yo, X moderator, this or that. No, it's not something as simple as no. And I'm sure you'll eventually, at some point, listen, I'll tell you this. If things don't go anywhere, I'll drop all the info at some point, but I'm not trying to, anyways, you understand. Yeah, I'll divulge it all eventually. Just right now, it doesn't make any sense to do it.